Namaskar. Welcome to the podcast. Jai Anusandhan, Ministry of Education Innovation Cell presents you EDVantage, your vantage point for anything and everything educational and inspirational. Today's podcast is on architecting entrepreneurial ecosystem in higher educational institutions. As you all know, Industrial Revolution started from Europe. 19th century was the revolutionary period for Europe. In the beginning of 20th century, it was for USA. Towards the end of 20th century, it was for China. And 21st century is for Asian countries, particularly for our country, India. When we are marching towards a third largest economy in the world and a $5 trillion economy by 2026, it is a requirement for our country and all educational institutions and educational systems to be more qualitative and also making our educational institutions more entrepreneurial and innovative. So, how we are going to make it and how we are going to make our education system more entrepreneurial, how to produce more innovations, entrepreneurs from our education systems, so that they will drive the country's economy, social advancement and cultural and technological advancements. We are already witnessing this cultural shift is happening in our country since last 1 decade, and it is going to continue with a better pace and speed for next 25 years. Being one of the youngest country in the world and having more than 60% workforce are in the age group of 25 to 35, so we are going to utilize this advantage to speed up our development process. And I am going to tell you in a very brief manner that how, while designing the ecosystem in your institutions, what the minimum conditions, systems and approaches you have to keep in your mind, and that will help you to set up and to establish a better ecosystem that will help in setting the culture and also improving the performance of your institutions in terms of producing innovations, entrepreneurs and technology transfers. Let's dissect, let's break down this whole topic into very simpler forms. Equation of systems for entrepreneurial performance. It is very easy to remember while you are developing this whole system. So, this equation says conditions, relationships and interaction between the stakeholders, that is the starting point, which will create a base where the systems will set up the framework, which includes the systematic approach and management of the structures available in your institutions, while the ultimate objective is to have a culture that will promote innovation and entrepreneurship, and it will also result performance and achievements. If you will further dig down into the each and every component, the conditions actually require is the resource base, the resource status available in your institute. Is your institute is running or your institute is in a resource rich or resource abundant or in a resource constraint or resource scarcity, that will set the strategy, that will help in developing the strategy in a better way. And the leadership of your institute and the people, especially the faculty, student and researchers and the scientists, they are the base of developing this entrepreneurial ecosystem. Then once you have the resource base or the resource status, then leadership, people and the strategy of collaboration, co-creation, partnership, that will help you in designing a better system in terms of policy creation, especially IP policy, incubation policy, startup policy, innovation policy kind of things, and you have to institutionalize all these policies in such way that you will able to leverage the sources, funding structures and connections with other stakeholders, ecosystem enablers in a great way. And the infrastructures and facilities available in your institutions, especially pre-incubation support system, incubation support system, technology transfer, IP facilitation, all these things has to be integrated through this policy, institutionalization and source and connection. and further you have to set certain measurements to check the progress and the standardization of all these operational things, so that you will produce more qualities. Finally, we have to move to our culture development and the performance development and the achievements in terms of entrepreneurial motivation, like our faculty, student members, even the leaders team has to inculcate an entrepreneurial attitude, skill and also mindset, and they are motivated enough to pursue this innovation entrepreneurship as a core strategy of the institutional moving forward. Then the identity and the role models creation in institutions, especially faculty and the students, they have to project themselves as an entrepreneur, or they have to behave like an entrepreneur. Then engagement in various activities, then that will leads to knowledge exploration, knowledge exploitation, and ultimately achieving this output in terms of spin-offs, technology transfers, IP licensing. These are the ultimate objective and the building blocks of while architecting entrepreneurial ecosystem in an educational institutions. Now it's time for taking few questions from our audience, and already we have many institutions that have joined this podcast, and I will invite one by one institutions to ask their questions, and for next 15 to 20 minutes we will take 5 to 6 questions. So floor is now open for the question and answer. I will take the first question from the audience. Yes, Dr. Supriya Pathak, President of IIC Oriental University, Indore. Please ask your question.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting in this podcast. Sir, it's my great pleasure to see your thoughts about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So my question is, how does an entrepreneurial ecosystem can benefit an innovator to achieve the market product fit?
Okay, so you have mentioned one very important terminology called market product fit. So market product fit is the actually second stage of innovation and entrepreneurship achievement, and the first is called problem solution fit. So to reach to the market product fit, you have to first cross through this problem solution fit. So first your institution has to provide enough avenues and support systems to the students to have a problem solution fit, which involves the idea development, problem identification, then prototype development. Then once prototype development is done, then market has to be connected to validate that prototype and the innovative features you are going to include in that product, so that market and products will be tested simultaneously while it's the development stage, and that what we call market product fit. And to have that, institute should have equipped with facilities for product solution, problem solution fit, and also product market fit. And for that you have to also stay collaborated with market, especially the stakeholders, the support systems, and also the community which is facing that problem.
Thank you very much, sir, for addressing this question in this wonderful manner, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Let's go to the next. Who is next?
Hello, sir. Good morning. I'm Dr. Jensi, IIC President, St. Teresa's College, Ernakulam, Kerala.
Welcome. Please.
So my question is like, when we often converse with the startup founders and entrepreneurs, they often share the idea that in the initial days of their entrepreneurial journey, it was quite difficult for them to do with the finance part. So our curriculum nowadays, like the present curriculum, is not giving much importance to the financial education. So in this regard, what we can do?
Yes.
How we can improve the curriculum, or some measures that can be taken in this regard?
Yes, as you mentioned, finance is very, very important component of any entrepreneurial venture or any innovation journey. But we have to understand it that if it is important, we have to understand it fully, and either we have to understand it or we have to outsource it. So there are only two strategies. but even though you outsource, you have to understand the actually its both positive and negative aspect and with the implications. If you will completely outsource without understanding, then there is a high chance that you will later face lots of problem. So being an entrepreneur or an innovator, I will say that financial part you have to understand, and educational institutions can offer 1, 2 or 3 credit courses on financial management, especially addressing the entrepreneurs or innovators rather than giving the generic finance, because if you will give the classes on generic finance, maybe that is not suitable for this innovators, entrepreneurs, they will lose the interest. So we have to design 1 or 2 or 3 credit courses on financing entrepreneurs or financial for entrepreneurs or innovators, which is specific to the requirement, the what is the minimum understanding these people or these individuals required, and every institute has the capacity to do that, and they can take the help of other experts outside, and they can float this kind of elective courses also. This is already, this freedom is already with the institutions to do it. Yeah, thank you. And who is the next?
Hello, good morning, Deepan sir.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Dinesh Podale, GHRC Nagpur, President IIC. I want to ask, what is the correct stage to take the student into entrepreneurship status during graduation, either first year or second year?
Very good question, and very interesting questions too. Actually, it has been studied that age has no exact correlation with the entrepreneurship. It is the passion, it is the interest, it is the compassion that decides. So it is very difficult to say, and also it's not wise to say that entrepreneurs should start at the first year or second year, third year. But what is important is that what kind of learning environment you are providing. So when you make sure that you provide right understanding, right opportunity, you provide the learning environment to the students, and when they will start participating in these programs, then gradually they will understand, and they will the kind of understanding, the kind of learning they will acquire, and quickly they will acquire it, then they will start working on their ideas, innovations. So you have to make sure that be it a first year or second year, third year, everybody should go through the awareness, dissemination workshops, ideation workshops, design thinking workshops, intellectual property and innovation management workshops. So provide them best learning environment and courses, and leave them to take their discourse of starting the innovation, when and how, but definitely provide necessary hand-holding supports. Thank you.
Sir. I want to ask another question. In our experience, the group dynamism become challenges and kills many startup ideas in the first year itself. How to train the student in this during this process?
Group dynamism is directly related to the team development process. So like startup has its own process, team development process also go through its natural process of starting with one person thought into sharing with many people, then identifying the right people or interested one to come discuss and brainstorm, and then maybe few of them will get exit, new person will enter. So that this validation of team is also goes side by side. So starting from one person to a group, then interest creation, then validation, then staying together during the very difficult and very uncertain stage of initial stage of ideation and further market validation is very important. Only those will stay in that team, they will be founding team member of the startups. So this process we have to facilitate, that this team development, team formation, how to work in a team, how to take decisions, how to manage the dynamisms within the team, that part also we have to facilitate as an educational institutions, and by doing so we will reduce lot of this dynamisms, especially negative externalities or negative equations happening in the group activities. Okay, we will go to the next caller. Who is the next?
Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Minu Paez from St. Joseph's College, Kerala. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask you to explain the prospect of IPR generation in arts disciplines like economics, history, and sociology, etc. And also, I'd like to have a clarification on whether we can submit only the patent applications under the Kabila scheme, and whether we can also apply the proposed ideas also in the Kabila.
Okay, so you have touched the area called IPR, intellectual property right, and when we say IPR, it's not only specific to the patents. Also, there are other types of IPR like trademark, copyright, design patents. All kind of things are there, and all these components are very relevant and important for innovators and startups. So when idea comes up with certain IP part. That part we have to identify, and how this identification ability, patentable component identification ability, comes with your IP literacy. If the literacy, if your understanding on intellectual property is not in depth, then might be there is high chance that you will miss that component of IP component that is in your idea. Because when you think about idea, during that time itself IP components come with inbuilt one, and that's why how to manage IP, how to identify IP, and also giving or making the students aware about the benefits of IP is very important. That's why we Ministry of Education already started design IPR course modules, and also you will find so many online MOOC courses on IPR that student can go through, and if required, even institute can design customized IPR programs for the students, and every student should go through this IP courses, irrespective they produce patentable innovation or non-patentable innovation, that doesn't matter. But if they know the process, that will help them to design a better innovations, and also how to protect these innovations from others. That things also they will learn from these courses. And that's why while designing this ecosystem, keep enough importance to IPR and IP management, especially at the early stage of innovation and startup development.
Thank you, sir. Can you also comment on the Kabila scheme? We can only apply the submit the applications submitted in patent, or whether we can yes been proposed by the students.
You are mentioning you have mentioned Kapila program, or which program you are asking?
Kapila
program. So for program specific query, definitely you can write to us, because there is a special help desk is there for Kapila program, and Kapila invite IP applications filed by the institutions in a phased manner, and if any specific related to Kapila related things, you can definitely write to us, and email is there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's go to the next.
So very good morning. I'm Dr. Kumari. I'm convener of I can call it. I'm very happy to be part of the board.
Please go ahead.
And thank you for organizing and including us. And our college has strategically initiatives to bring innovation and entrepreneurship. We are a liberal arts and science college, and we do have an MCC MRF Innovation Park dedicated particularly for the arts and science students. And I have the question related to the Smart Hackathon. And presently I could find the Smart Hackathon mainly focuses on areas aligned to technology, software and hardware. And can you suggest some competitions wherein the students from non-technical sector can participate? For example, life science students, innovations and process innovations, and being in liberal arts and science, coming out with such ideas, including such factors in smart hackathons would encourage more students to be part of HEIs. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Yes, you have rightly mentioned that Smart India Hackathon program is more suitable for the technical students, and majorly technical institutions are participating in this program. And if you see the genesis of Smart India Hackathon, it started in 2017 from computer science or IT related problems only, and only specific from the restrict to the government. But gradually we have moved from software edition to the hardware edition by adding other departments in the engineering field, and also we have broadened our problem area from government to the industry, and now we have also further extended to the geography in terms of our country to the other countries, other continents, and this is also in our plan that in future we are going to add non-technical and non-technical institutions and non-technological innovations into this ambit. And if you, because you are already part of the IIC, you know Yukti Innovation Challenge, you know the Yukti modality. So IIC also IICs are in IICs, especially non-technical institutions. Through this Yukti Innovation Challenge, through this Yukti model, we are encouraging that they should plan campus hackathons, irrespective of the technical or non-technical in their, and they should prepare their students to work on problem statements and develop the solutions, and then getting the opportunity to participate at the national level. So you can take Yukti Innovation Challenge is kind of a hackathon for non-technical students also. So you can take in that sense, but in future maybe Smart India Hackathon will include non-technical components. Thank you.
So much.
Okay, we will go to the next caller.
Sir, I have one more question. Can I answer?
Okay, please go ahead.
Sir, the NISP talks about faculty involving in innovation startup. Can there be any mandatory clause where the credit, benefits, or the incentive can be added to motivate the faculty and researchers to work more into the innovation piece?
National Innovation and Startup Policy, the guiding framework for higher education institutions, already given a very clear-cut clauses on faculty entrepreneurship, benefits, incentives that can be offered and extended to the institutions, the faculty members. But we are not making it mandatory, because making it mandatory, we are going to destroy the, or maybe there will be some kind of a some negative or destruction to the system. So it is always kind of a, rather than mandatory, it is always kind of a self-interest from the faculty, or the institute has to take that initiative. So to implement this NISP, institute has to first design a customized institute-specific innovation and startup policy, incubation policy, IPR policy or IP policy, and that has to be approved by the institute. Then it has to be communicated to the faculty members. Then faculty member can take the benefit. So we are giving the only guidelines. We can't make it mandatory at this moment, because there are more than 50,000 institutions are there. By making it mandatory, maybe certain institutions are able to make it practice, but certain majority of the institutions, they are not in that position to make it or accept it as a mandatory stage. So gradually we are creating the system, we are enabling them, we are increasing their capacity, and maybe in next 3 to 4 years or the 5 years down the line, maybe every institutions will come forward and they will make it practice without even making it mandatory. So it has to be kind of a, rather than compulsion, it should be kind of a self-interest mode, it should be implemented. But you can take the reference from our NISP policy for implementation. You can speed up the implementation process and designing of the policy programs. Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you so much, sir. Just adding to that question, like career advancement schemes, if the FDP on entrepreneurship, MIC, sir, so which can advancement scheme like our innovation ambassadors and teachers taking training, but that cannot be accounted as part of the career advancement scheme. So if there is an FDP, now the colleges and the institutions are starting with courses on innovation and entrepreneurship. It is mandatory and it is very important that the faculty has to be equipped first. And most of us are into our own specific domains. And about entrepreneurship, if there is an FDP offered by MIC, then it will be easy for the teachers of our own campus to teach on the new courses that is coming up, sir. So this is a request from our side.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, AICT is already offering FD programs as part of Atal Academy, so you can use that. Thank you. We will go to the next, because already time is up and we have to wind up our podcast now. And as we said, Jai Anusandhan channel of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell is bringing you a lot series of podcasts, and we will bring many subject experts and also domain experts to give their views, to interact with you all, and to broaden your horizon and understanding on innovation, entrepreneurship and IP domain, and how educational institutions will actually bring great changes in economic and social advancement of our country. With this, I will conclude the session and will thank you all for joining with us and watching this podcast. Thank you all.